We're in. Welcome, Darren Clayton. A little bit of fun behind the scenes, but we are all good to go. Hello, my friend.
How are you this evening, Paul?
Very good. We're just a little bit murky every now and then with your audio, but we will get that fixed. Every now and then it comes in. What we might be able to do is just bump yours up. He's going for a change.
You want me to go to wide?
No, every now and then it's good, but yeah, just for some reason it goes a bit murky. Maybe wide might be safer.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe wide might be safer. Just goes murky every now and then, mate. So I'll let you do that. Welcome everyone to On Loose Lines. As always, we are ready. This time it's not me, it's him. But at least he remembered his computer, unlike last time where he had to put the phone into the hot pot, but that's okay. So, and you have as many storage packages as what we have at home, my friend. That's better. That's much better, much clearer, mate. So that's awesome. Every now and then it drops out. It might be my end, Darren. Just talk for me, mate. Hang on. No, I can't hear you at all now. I think Darren's just got a slight audio issue now. He'll get that sorted. I reckon because you had your AirPods in, that's why it would have been really good as you're pulling them out. It's not recognising your hand thing.
How's that now?
Much better. That's awesome. Very
There
clear.
we go.
Firstly, thank you very much for joining me. And what's been a massive week for Queensland racing, or 2 weeks for Queensland racing, and culminating in at one more to go, mate. You must be one proud of what you guys have been able to achieve, but also wrapped that it's almost at the end.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. Yes, it's nearly over, but geez, we're still a long way from the finish line. We've got plenty to do, plenty to go through, plenty of fine tuning. But it's so far so good. We've had relatively hiccup free on course. It hasn't been too much of an issue. And we're getting some good traction off the track as well. We've lots of different medias. Quite happy to jump on here with you and do this one, even if I can't get organised in time and ruin your show for you.
You were. It was just your audio was a little bit, so I'm happier with that. But yeah, you're right.
So we've had a number of different things on the go in different areas. We had barrier draw function yesterday for the 2 finals. Barrier draws today. They weren't a function, they were just live streamed out this afternoon at 4:00 for the Derby, the Oaks and the Golden Girl. So they're out and about now. The fields for Saturday night, I haven't checked. I do believe they are out.
They're up. All the fields are up. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So in between everything going on, they've been released as well. So plenty happening, plenty to still go this week. But it's exciting times.
No, it is indeed. And we're going to cover off on a lot of those things. I got a little bit of a quirky one. I did a little bit of homework on the Inter-Dominion, actually, so we'll touch on that. There's a couple other things I do need to do for my sponsors and look after them. Hats are always a big contentious thing. Now, Darren, there's one issue. Now, you can see here. Oh, here he goes. What's this? Is this the Inter-Dominion? Yep, this is it. But you can see the light because of the light. So that's actually the hat. But I need to just gives a bit of a reflection off the glare. So that's the ultimate driver's hat anyway. So I do have it, and it is there. It's not your fault. It's because of the lights up above. But anyway.
Normally the glare off the top of the thing is when you don't have your hat on, isn't it?
It is. There's a young bloke, Finn Clayton. I know exactly what he's up to, mate. He's watching. He thinks he might think he's getting away with it, but he was in the background doing some cleaning up before. But and Rap to be going back to school tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, he's absolutely stoked. But you've set him on the right path, Paul. He did the work for you last year with the nutrient sale at the filming. He's been doing some filming with the on-track film crew through the carnival. So he's you've got him a start.
I saw him with the red vest on. I thought he's up to something official. There was one footage. It actually, I think it's, I'm not sure who it was. It was one of the horses walking back quickly that didn't parade that long. That is one issue you guys definitely have there. That few horses aren't keen on those white horses by the looks.
It's Sure Thing Captain. That was he was far from impressed with the clerk's pony.
Yeah, it actually wasn't him because it was later in the night. But yeah,
okay.
You weren't behind Sure Thing Captain. You guys couldn't keep up. No one could. He said he was well and truly out of there. And that's the second time he's done that, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's it's interesting that they take a set against the against those ponies. But yeah,
I
but-
know. I'm sure there'd be plenty of people. We used to have a horse here called It in a Bit. He was a lovely horse. He was a really nice horse. We had ponies here because Holly was a lot younger. Wouldn't care less. Take him to the races.
Yeah.
He wanted to savage them. He couldn't. It's a very odd little thing, I reckon. Some horses.
Yeah, it seems, and it's not a unique situation really. There's quite a few of them. So yeah, I don't know what to go. So even we've had a few stallions that have won races. Leap to Fame's always won. He doesn't like standing still for so long, but when you're that fast, you accommodate him however you like. So, considering he still gets plenty of photos, but yeah, he likes to keep on the move.
There's a bit of a trick. The boys grab a front leg on him if it looks like it's going to be a long presentation, which is smart. And anyone that might be watching this and maybe thinking, that's a bit cruel. But no, it's just so he doesn't kick. He actually stands. He's quite happy with it. He just lifts the leg up. He's not even hard for the boys. He just stands there, and once his leg's lifted, he just goes, oh, well, that's it, and go from there. I know, and we'll touch on Lucastro in a minute, but I did notice Alan McDonough, and when Alan's with a horse, it's generally a reason. He's a gifted horseman, Alan, but he doesn't get the quiet ones. It's probably the easiest way to put it, and they did keep him moving, but they still were able to hold him long enough to get the photo taken. So there's ways around it, that's for sure.
Yeah, there is. It was funny watching him on Saturday night, Picasso. He was having good old paw at the ground there in front of the crowd, but he took it in his stride pretty well, considering there was a lot of connections on the stage directly behind him, and they were making a lot of noise. Up in the grandstand when he hit the front in the stretch, or he was in front, but sort of pulled away. Yeah, there was a massive roar from a pretty small group.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're getting a lot more song about them. They've got plenty of nice horses going around that group as well. Interesting enough, some of those connections would have actually had two winners on the night, because Alex Ashwood is actually watching, but with Parisian Artistes, of course, as well, that some of those guys are in that syndicate. Well, I don't know if those people, but the Summit Bloodstock and Aaron Bone Racing are also in him. So, huge night for them. Yeah,
they would have had a really good night, and I know. One of the owners, Rachel Scott, who's in Lucasso, it was her birthday on Saturday night as well. So she got a pretty handy birthday gift.
She did indeed. Now, I've pinched these photos off you without your permission, but I don't think you'll mind. I think this actually is harness racing, Parisian Artiste. I think it's just one of the great photos. 3 generations there of Frenches. I'm sure Terry, or Turkey as he's more commonly known to the people who actually know him, would have been absolutely over the moon back here in Victoria. I presume he's not up there at the minute, but that is just a great photo there straight after the race of the Inter-Dominion, and it's something so cool about our sport that we are able to do.
It is, and to have those moments, that's what the Inter-Dominion's all about. It's about the backstories.
Yep.
So many horses have a backstory. I think is it Levi, the little
Yep.
fella's name?
Yes. Yep.
Lucky the Inter-Dominion is up here, Paul, because you wouldn't take him out if it was anywhere else. It'd be that cold.
He wouldn't be going out here tonight. I know Alex is actually watching, and well done to you, Alex. I'm hoping to catch up. And I posted a little bit of self. I did a more than a horse. It was actually worked out nearly 12 months ago, actually, and it was around Parisian Artiste as he was going to the Inter-Dominion, and the backstory on this horse is amazing, Hector, and he's been a great horse for the camp since he was 2. Go and watch that whole video. I don't want to do it an injustice, but he did have a little bit of bad luck there a couple of years ago. He may never have raced again, the horse, and to come back and do what he's been able to do is amazing. And he was brilliant the other night, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and perfect drive too from Taylor. She summed it up ideally. As soon as Oscar made that break, Luke worked to the front. She knew the front was probably going to be there and just pounced on it. And then, he was in total control then thereafter. And he hit the line nicely. And similar gate for the final. He's right in this final. It's and an amazing effort through 3rd successive Inter-Dominion final. Like that's a feather in the cap of the team in its own right, regardless of what happens.
I think it's huge for them as well. They're only trying a small team. They've taken 3 horses up there. all three have won, albeit one's only got half a win. But yeah, all three have actually won, which is just, I think that's amazing for them in its own right. I think well done to these guys. We need to champion these sorts of people. We need more of them in our industry, and they do the hard yards. I think Alex was at Mildura during the week. Don't know if he's going to Mildura this week. I'll have a look in a minute when we get to the fields. But just they do the miles. Alex drove the horses up there. Taylor and Levi flew up. Alex come back home, and he's been slogging it out here in very cold and very wet conditions, which is good for Victoria, but it's very unpleasant. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, well, I guess that's just winter, isn't it? That's how it rolls. We're hoping we can get a nice week this week. The forecast is showing a little bit of rain for Saturday, so hopefully that goes away and that changes between now and then. But just going back to one of their other winner there, Williams, he dead heated last week. Williams at Albion Park. Amazingly, he's had 10 starts, 4 wins. Two of those wins have been dead heats. Like that's
his last two.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah, his last two. At Penrith, his last win was at Penrith prior to the other night, and there was a few little other parts of that. Both sides bred at Alabar. You did a fair bit of homework. What was it? One day in between their birth dates?
Yeah, Storm Inside and Vincent were only born one day apart. Both had 19 starts. Both had 16 wins. So pretty impressive. But that was a good win by Williams because he was gone, but it was an off the canvas victory.
He was a little bit like that. I saw his first win at St Arnaud, and he was a little bit similar to that going there. Interesting little thing about the Storm Inside and Vincent, a day apart in Victoria, never raced each other.
No, that was I was hoping that they would have met at least once, but never met, which is interesting for 2 3-year-olds. Well, what they had pretty solid 3-year-old seasons or 2-year-old seasons that never raced each other.
Yeah, I think the Storm Inside was a better 4-year-old. I don't think he races a 3-year-old is how it worked. I think Vincent races a 3-year-old, didn't come back here at all. So, yeah, because he was only there. Mate, can I leave you for 2 secs? I just realised something that's not working. It'll only be 2 secs, but actually I won't do that. What could I throw to you? I can't throw anything. I haven't got a video. I got this one. I'll throw the Woodlands Different Gravy up. I'll be back in 2 secs. Now I'm back because there is one issue. I just realised there was no audio on that, but that doesn't matter. It was a big night for the team at Woodlands, and I was rapt to get the different gravy. I didn't have my comment section up, and I don't like it because I saw Tony Jackson has actually put a comments there, and I think people enjoy being able to put it. So I do apologise. Didn't hit start on that other computer. King of Swing hated Clerks of the Course horses. I think King of Swing had quite a few little quirks actually about him. I remember at Bathurst for the Inter-Dominion when it was in Sydney, seeing Luke and the Mari Strapper, I forgot the guy's name, but standing hard up against the stable complex. I think they were told that they have to parade him, but the parade ring was too small and he didn't like it. Like, he was a bit quirky. And I think it's great that we work with these horses. I think it's a pretty cool thing that we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're even like, leap to fame, you say quirks, like he's just probably gone to another level since his little support pony goes with him everywhere. Keeps him a bit settled in the stables. He was getting pretty boisterous there at one point when Grant and Trista realised that, Alfie loves Alfie. Well, then Alfie got the call up. So away he goes. He gets his own stable right next door to him.
It is the odd couple. I will say that. Right, I'm going to get through a couple of little things that I do want to get through. So the Hall of Fame nominations are open for this right now. Darren, you can chime in any way but you like, but this is the Victorian Hall of Fame. These nominations close this Friday. So go to the trots.com.au, then go into the news articles and get involved. We want people to be nominated. The system is there. You just basically click on either of that's the previous winners. So it'll give you a list of who's been inducted and who hasn't been, and then how to submit your nominations. Very, very straightforward. Closes this Friday. So we want to make sure people are well and truly aware of that, and get that out there for harness racing, because history is very important, Darren. I know you're aware of it. We need to cherish the history and, get some of these great stories from some of these people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the old saying, you don't, what is it? You don't get where you're going if you don't respect where you've been. Something along those lines. I'm sure I've probably butchered that, but anyway.
I think you made it better. If you did, I think you made it better.
But yeah, you've got to honour that history in certain ways, and I know up here in Queensland we have our Hall of Fame, and different life members of clubs and what have you. You've got to, I guess, respect and honour the hard work that people put in along the way in the journey.
Yep, absolutely. Your little ticker down the bottom too. Are you heading to Queensland? Find out how many people might be heading from interstate who might be watching this show. Who is your favourite Inter-Dominion winner? And there was one other. Oh, who do you think will win the trot? Because I think a lot of people are going to be in the Leap to Fame category. So any of those, because I think the trot race is well and truly open, and Darren and I will touch base on those very, very shortly. But please get involved in those ticker questions as well. Are you heading up there? Who do you think can win the trotting race? And who is your, what's your favourite winner? I think a lot of people can go back over history and have a favourite winner for whether it was their first ever bet or, could be a numerous amount of reasons. I know David Aiken is going to play a big part in it. I remember he saying about the year that Gamelite raced. He reckons it was one of the greatest things he's ever experienced on a racetrack. He was actually on the track over the back straight at Moonee Valley, and when Gamelite walked through onto the track through the tunnel to go out onto the track, he said the roar was deafening. He said, and he was over the back straight. He said he would have loved to have been there under that tunnel when that went through. He said it was just one of the greatest things ever. And that was his last ever race start, I believe. I think they knew that he was finishing. I don't think he won it, but it was his last ever start in a race was at Inter-Dominion.
Yeah, well, it's been such a great race, and like I've got plenty of memories, right back. I think one of my earliest ones, I know Mum and Dad took us to the Moonee Valley one. Would have been 92, I think, that Westburn Grant won. We had a week down there for that one. I remember that one. Remember probably one of my greatest memories is 97 Rainbow Night. He won it. He won it that year. I might have talked to you about this before, Paul, but Rainbow Night won that year. I'm still yet to see a developed print.
Was it that close?
I'm 100% sure he won. Sir Vancelot goes down in the history books as that was the first of his three. But there's never been the developed print's never been published. I'm sure. It would have been a huge night if Rainbow Night had won that night. 25-1, I got him at. A few other winners throughout the night. That was probably my first Inter-Dominion trip away as a sort of by myself as more of a, like being 18 and being able to drink and bet and do all that yourself. So my first real trip away. So, that was a good one. And it's a great, one of the undercard races on that night that I'm pretty sure it was Roger Houston, the American caller. They got him out to call that night. And, it was one of the great calls. I think you can find it on YouTube. But, Rapaki Lad and, a few other bits and pieces, and that was a cracking call. And I always remember that year, 97, as one of my great Inter-Dominion years, even though probably in the scheme of things, it's not anything great.
Yep. Yeah. Roger, I'm going, of course, to the Vincent Delaney Memorial. A lot of people watching too, so please get involved in there. Tony Chibnall, heaps of people that would like to contribute. Lawrence McCormick, hello to you. Roger went to the Vincent Delaney Memorial, and I'm heading across there in the start of August. Looking forward to it, the Vincent Delaney, and so that's on the 10th. So it must be the 8th and 9th, and I'll be covering. I'm doing the tour. They got me going across there for quite a few parts of it. But last year we went across there, and a few people weren't wrapped in Roger's calling. He's getting a little bit older, and they weren't that wrapped in it. First two races. So anyone knows the Vincent Delaney, they race on the Saturday and the Sunday. I think this year it's a little bit different. It's Friday, Saturday. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But anyway, they race 2 days in a row. The 2-year-olds compete in the heats, and then the front up on the Sunday. Most horses compete on the Saturday, front back up on the Sunday in other races, and that's where the best prize money is. And for the first 2 races, Roger was locked in a room next door to the commentator's room. Honest mistake, honestly innocent, something that actually happened innocently, they believe. But there was a little bit of self-doubt about that when we found out. So he didn't call the first 2 races, and there was a few people pretty happy about that. And the race caller might have just happened to have been in the box. So not sure exactly what happened there, but I am looking forward to catching up with him, that's for sure. Sorry, you didn't hear me, or you finished? No, you're leaving me. Tony Chibnall put a comment. The 92 at the Valley, Westburn Grant, what a complete racehorse, speed, stamina, and beat a field of champions, and it absolutely was. And it was great to see the Vic Frost. I don't know actually what the name of the race was, but Blue Collar Tiger Pie won it at Menangle on
it was
Saturday.
The Vic Frost free for all.
Yes, thank you.
So,
definitely not the Memorial. Definitely not the Memorial, because he was there in the crowd. And I saw Mick Stanley actually posted a photo of Vic. I think he was prouder of winning Vic's race and having Vic there with that than actually what he was of winning the race with a horse that he's got flying, I must say. So well done for that horse too. So yeah.
Yeah, but Vic must have headed down for that race rather than being at Albion Park with as a support crew.
Yep. And then I saw Gail. She might have been in. I'm not sure.
She was at Albion Park on Saturday.
I know she was in the trophy presentation though of one of the horses. Bet
and Win.
Was she?
Bet and Win, because they're staying there. They're staying.
Yeah.
There, so.
Yep. Spot on. Yeah. So she was in that. So I think that part was awesome too. So I think that's one of the great things about it. But yeah, you're spot on. Westburn Grand. He was a superstar horse. I was lucky enough to be in Perth when Lazarus won. Seeing that was outstanding. And I tell the story that after the race, they were washing him and they had a big drain, and Gary Hall Sr. and quite a few of the other guys have been trying to get this drain fixed. They just put a piece of mesh over the top of it. And Lazarus, when he went in there, the girl, Elson, forgot her first name, when she started hosing him, he put his foot on the grate with his shoe and pulled back. And there was a hole about this round that if a horse ever put their foot down it, they'd break it. Well, I actually caught him, and I was quite happy just to hold him, and she just hosed him, and I didn't care about getting wet or nothing like that. And the reason we caught him, Grant and I, were where our horses were smack at that wash, so we're sort of the first people there. Yep. But they weren't happy because the drain was actually they said this has got to be fixed straight away. And I still remember Gary Hall Sr., and he was just threw his arms in the air. We've been trying to get it fixed for years, and no one will fix it. It takes one horse like him, and then they're going to just drop everything and get it fixed straight away. So, yeah, I think it was definitely one of those brilliant races to be there and see an absolute superstar. And I think we forget how good a horse he was, and how good some of these Inter-Dominion horses actually are.
Yeah, well, there's a reason, I guess, that they get through to that grade and go in these series, but I think Lazarus was second or third all time, Australian New Zealand money earner. He's right up there. I'm the Mighty Quinn number 2 and Black's the Fake number 1. That'll probably all change this week when Leap to Fame. But, cop a bit of flack that, that this Inner Dominion's not as strong. But you look at the factors, Catch a Wave and Don Hugo, $2 million earners are through to the final, and they're second and third string behind Leap to Fame, really. And, you can't do much more than that.
No, you can't. And the barrier draw has gone against him, and we'll touch on that in a sec. But it is what it is. We don't celebrate these horses. I think we've got to realise what we've got, and we need to celebrate these horses and the people around them. And Tristan and Grant do an awesome job, because media is not their strong point, if that's fair to say. It's not their chosen direction that they want to go to. but they
And
do, they just do it.
they've been super with Leap to Fame, and so accommodating. They've done a number of different pieces. I saw another piece come out today. There was I went out there with a film crew a couple of weeks back, and Grant couldn't have been any more accommodating, and the whole team, to the point that he said to me, if you want to see him work, he works at between 7 and 7:30. And I said, well, the film crew can't get there by then. And so I said, we'll get enough out of it that won't need to worry. We got out there at about 11:30, and he went and got him out of the paddock, geared him up, and gave him another few spins around the track so they could get some footage of him actually on the track. And, that sort of level of commitment and, just really making the effort, because I think they realise how much of a superstar he is. And, you've only got, from my perspective, doing sort of media for the club, as soon as it mentions Leap to Fame or there's an image of Leap to Fame, the numbers on the analytics of it just go through the roof. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I will say I still think the best Inter-Dominion I went to was 2023 though. And just to be able to hear, and good luck to everyone that's there. Hopefully it's the same, but what was it, 600 from home? He was home. He was just free rolling, and that roar. I know where I was watching it. I was at the 200-meter mark. I thought I'll get him coming around the home turn, and I don't have a lot of hairs on my head, that's for sure. Even the back of my neck, but the one on my shoulders, the few on my shoulders, they just stood up. I think it was something. You were there, and the chant, and it just got louder, didn't it? They just started. Someone started it, and it just got louder and louder. It was brilliant to be a part of. Yeah,
and that's what we're. I know everyone, like ownership or breeding. You always want to breed a champion or own a champion, own a really good horse. But at the same time, if you're just a fan, you just want to see a good horse. And this horse is a great horse, and it just to be there and witness it. The really good ones have a presence, and he has that. He has a real presence. He knows he's good, and he knows that people are there to see him, and he just delivers it time after time.
And I tell you, he goes to war that often with so many horses. But he just comes out on top, doesn't he? Like Swayze, and I don't think, Swayze definitely not over. It'd be great to have him back at the races, but he had a pretty hard couple of campaigns, and he's out having a good spell. But horses like him, Don Hugo, he goes to war against these horses, and he fronts up against them 2 weeks later, and goes from there. I was listening to Adam Hamilton. He said that one of his defeats over the longer trip was in the heat of the Derby down here in Victoria. Captain Ravishing was a horse that actually beat him on that occasion. But the interesting part, I think he because they had to float him. Remember the plane broke? He was ready to get on the plane on Wednesday night, and they didn't take him. So they drove through the night to get him to Melbourne, and he got beat. I think he was beaten 10 metres on that occasion. For Grant and Trista to turn him around in a week, and what he was able to do in that Derby final was just an amazing effort. But the horse, like I say, another fight, another war he went to, but he just comes out on top. He's just something special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was that was earlier on in his career, probably a pretty good fact-finding mission for them at the time as well, to realise what the opposition was on that occasion, what they need to do to beat the opposition, and knowing how tough he is. And he's tough. Like, he gets, and I had a joke with Grant one night. There was a night he broke the track record at Albion Park because they parked him out and they wouldn't let him in. And actually, I said to Grant, geez, they make you earn it, don't they? And he said, I get more respect when I go away than I do at home with. But that it doesn't worry him because he's just that good. He just still puts them away and pulls clear for huge victories. So just with that win on Saturday night, the latest one, so it takes him to 38 Albion Park victories. So that makes him equal with Blacks Are Fake, Be Good Johnny, Cobbity Classic. Amazingly, all three of them finished their careers with 38 Albion Park victories. So a victory this week would take him past them. There's a few others have won more, But it's just interesting that those 3 top liners all finished with 38 Albion Park wins.
Yeah, and who was the most winningest horse at Albion Park?
Destrayos. He got
That's
to
right.
73. Our over and overs, the trotter, he got to 51, 50 or 51.
Yeah. Amazing. They're amazing stats. That's for sure. Plenty of people watching. Hello to you, Taylor French, enjoying the warm weather up there. One thing, a lot of the socials too, going out. I think it was on the Victorian one today. I saw that they went out, they were betting win, and they went out there and Stace's walking Kenny and pushing the pram at the same time. It's got a very baby feel to it, hasn't it? This Inter Dominion, when you think about it.
Yeah, some serious multitasking going on there. But
have you seen that footage?
yeah, I did see it earlier today. I had a good chuckle that that how that was going down. But like you say, it's a good with Stacey and the 2 kids, and the has she got 2 or 1? There's 2 little. So there's 2 with them in their party that I've seen, and they wear the mini silks.
Yep.
And they get around in the little yellow and blue silks, and then obviously Taylor and her little fella. So it's a pretty good time, and there's not many other sports where that family element, you get to embrace that the way you do in our sport.
No, definitely not. I'll find I've got that photo that Stace shared. There it is, right there. I will hopefully get it to come up here. So there they are there, the whole family, and basically the caption, you can actually see Stace's caption is, "How lucky am I?" And yeah, the boys are enjoying themselves, and because David is actually an Australian, so we actually can claim him as a wee Aussie, that's for sure. So because of course him and Cam Hart are cousins. A wee Aussie. That was a tongue-in-cheek one. That was intentional. That one. That was intentional.
So yesterday at the barrier draw, they interviewed David, and they said, "Oh, you're an Aussie, but you've lived over in New Zealand for quite a long time." And he said, "I think I've lived over there long enough that I've started picking up too many of their stupid sayings." And I think you could probably put the "we" in that category.
It was with Matty Cross, their race caller, over there. And when I finished, I did a magic interview. I loved it. He kept going on, and like I can do from time to time, and he just complimented me, I suppose. But at the end of it, I said to him, "Do you realise how often you Kiwis say we?" And he was like, "No." I saw him 2 days later. 2 days later at Addington, and he come out of his way. And he said, "You're right. We say it a lot." I was like, it's part of their vernacular. It's what they say, and they don't realise it. And look, good luck to them. I think they're great people, and they have a lot of fun. I did say to Stacey one day, I said, "Oh, you're half Aussie." Oh, that doesn't go down well. I can tell you that. Do not do that one. Even tongue. I get on great with Stacey because she works with Woodlands, and she goes from good. Really, actually, very very quickly. The Stallions service fees are out for Woodlands. Great supporters of Campbell's comments. So the Australian one there, catch up with Mark Hughes. You'll be able to find him on the links, and then also the New Zealand fees are there. Of course, the addition to that is they actually have access to American Ideal frozen semen. That is only available in New Zealand. So going from there, and Taylor French actually was tuned in just there before. So Tay, that was a photo that I'll put up there that courtesy of Darren. So I think that's just an awesome photo. There's another little backstory to Tay with the Queensland connection as well. So I'm sure it's very bittersweet for her up there, but I'm not going to go into that. And but it is, there's plenty going on for Tay, and hopefully she can come out on top. Nellie Melba, it is a family sport, and you're spot on. It's a great sport. I really think it is an amazing sport. Right, we're going to try and do something. We'll try and catch her on what happened last week and go from there. But I'm still going to be self-indulgent, so it's got to go through a little bit first. So this is actually the yearling video. I was lucky enough to do the yearling video, and if you had to notice the breeding of that horse by Captain Treacherous out of Musical Delight, this is Sure Thing Captain as a yearling in 2021, Darren, prepared by Lower Long Farms, Northern Rivers, Kath McIntosh and the team down there. This was the first year of selling horses for the nutrient sale. And this horse, James Rattray, hello to you, Jimmy. You've been having a great run. Stace is on there too, so we must be going okay, Darren. We'll get the right ones. But this horse has quite a unique little first. So he was the highest highest priced yearling to go through the nutrient sales for a day. So back then, there was so many to sell that they sold on the Friday night, and he sold for $100,000 on that occasion, and he was the highest priced horse to sell for the Friday, and of course the next day there was a couple went further than him. I think actually one of those went around today. Did it go around? No, it didn't. The Celiac is the name of the horse. He was 160,000 for Yobi Farms, and there was one other one. So yeah, so he was awesome. You must be wrapped with him from a Queensland point of view, mate.
Yeah, he's been super right throughout his career, and he's picked up those 2 heat wins now. He goes into the final. He created a bit of fanfare early on in his career and got beaten at a really short quote at his very first start, but he just went on with it from there. And Shannon Price and the team, they've done a wonderful job with him. So, he goes into the final now, doesn't get too much favours from gate 12 for that final. Not sure who will drive him just yet. Adam Sanderson has the pick of Speak the Truth or Sure Thing Captain. He hasn't decided. He said he'll wait till later in the week. So we'll see what happens there in terms of Sure Thing Captain. But he's been super in those 2 heat wins. Been able to find the front easily enough and just rip home some really solid halves. So probably hasn't had it really too tough in through the 2 runs. So, get to the 3,157 of this Saturday. He's right in it. They've got a real live shot with 2 horses, Speak the Truth, being by betters as well. So another betters in there, and looking forward to what they can produce. They've always been good horses, and they always have a good horse in the barn, the Price team. So they've got 2 through to this Inter Dominion. Speak the Truth, he'll be in his second Inter Dominion final. He made the 2023 one, finished midfield that year. He picked up a heat win that year as well. So, he's always been a good horse, Speak the Truth, as well as Sure Thing Captain, the one on the up.
Yeah, so you got me going all over the place here. I think Max Delight was awesome there as well. But you talked there before about always having one good horse in the camp. And, I heard an interview with Shannon the other day, and I'll just wait till they get past the 400 so I don't get myself into trouble with the videos. But she'd won 1 heat of an Inter Dominion. In the space of 2 weeks, she's now won 4. She's won 3 heats of an Inter Dominion. And I think this horse really probably shocked her a little bit at how well he did go. Captain's Knock. We had Milesy on last week. You heard him. Milesy said will not get beat. Won't get beat. I don't think the horse was disgraced, but I think Captain just really, he just ran out of his skin, and I think he was amazing.
Yeah, and if you do happen to be listening, Milesy, I'll send you the invoice, because when I suggested he was $2 and a bit, and you've given him the Captain M word. Well, haven't I done me wrist style? But anyway,
well, I do know one other person that's had the M word, and I'll leave it towards the end of the show. But there's a lot of pressure on one horse, I can tell you that. But I think it's pretty awesome. They're both young horses. They could be around. I mean, the Inter Dominion's back again next year, and hopefully the year after. And maybe it continues there for the rest of its. It might find the right spot. Shannon and the team, they're going to have a lot of fun with these couple of horses, because they got the home ground advantage. Plus, they are such great horses as well.
Yeah, and they really look after their horses. They're not a barn that over races them, but they will travel them when the races are on as well, and always looks fantastic when they bring him to the track. He looks a picture at the moment, Sure Thing Captain. He's just got a real glow in his coat, and he has to come in. We mentioned there that he doesn't like the pony, and he scooted through the parade ring after the race there on Saturday night. But they bring him in with the hood on just to try and keep him a little bit subdued, and so he doesn't get overawed by the situation. Well, he hasn't in those 2 heats so far. So, like I say, they go into a final with pretty good chance of of getting some really good money with two really nice horses. So, but like I said, you go back in their team over time's always been a good horse there, and good either or too, fillies and mares or colts and geldings. It's they're not a barn that just sort of has specialised in one or the other.
No, we've got to take our hats off to Adam Sanderson. He is a Kiwi from down south, down the bottom of the South Island, and hats off to him. I think the way he's handled these horses has been outstanding. Copped a little bit of flack the week before, took it on the chin. He couldn't take it on the nose because he's got too big of a moustache underneath there. It can't reach him. But he has been driving outstandingly. I presume he's going to get the drive on Ribera, which we'll touch on those as we go through a few of these fields a bit later on. But just been driving terrific. Did one that he'd probably like over again, but other than that, but the way he's handled these two horses, and when you see a horse like Sure Thing Captain running away, people chasing after him, it's not a push button horse. It's not like he's just going out there and driving an automobile and it's just going round. He's doing an amazing job for a person that's probably a little bit unheralded in the driving ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about it being such a family sport and whatever. Well, he didn't come from a family background, so he's sort of gone out and grafted it out his own way, and I think he's well and truly over 1,000 wins now, and he's really made his way since he's come to Australia, and now that association with the Price stable, he's their number one driver, and then he's got an association with Grant and Trista. He picks up any drives when they've got a few extras in a race or they go away. He picks up quite a few, and then he's got this association now with the Purdens, and he will drive Oscar Bonavina again. I'm pretty sure if that's the case, you'd imagine he sticks with Ribera as well. They keep him there.
It didn't have a driver, and Shannon has got Nathan Dawson on the other horse already. So I'm presuming it was just that it didn't have a driver on it. I've got two different screens. I'll fix them up in a second. We'll touch on that. I would say he would because he hasn't been beaten on Ribera. There's no reason to take him off. So yeah.
Yeah. So he's picked up some pretty handy drives there, and plenty of Group 1 victories to his name.
Absolutely. David Brio's watching the guys from Ballarat. I think they've done a great job, and we will touch on that race very, very shortly. We'll stick with the paces. We spoke about Leap to Fame. Great little stories. Kanina Provlima didn't make the final, but still went terrific for Robbie Morris and Kerry Ann. Haven't they had a great carnival with their horses up there? They got two into the final. He's in the consolation. They've done a great job. And Nyack for James Rattray, and I said he was there before, been outstanding. And Jess Tubbs, another one with better eclipse. I mean, there's some terrific stories coming out of these Inter-Dominions, even though it does look like from the pacing division it's a one-horse race. There's some great stories just all round.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I sort of alluded to earlier too, Paul, in that there's so many backstories to horses and you don't really know till you get around and you ask around and, find out some further information and, little quirky stats around them or whatever. But yeah, like you said, Kanina Problema, he missed out, but he ran on good there behind Leap to Fame. So, he's a horse that he didn't quite make the Inter-Dominion final last year when it was in at Melton. He did make the 2023 final here at Albion Park. He finished 7th on that occasion. So he's a horse that's been around and, he's been thereabouts and racing at that top level. So, yeah, good story there on Kanina Provlima.
Benny Setry be sitting back at the Airbnb working out what day he's going to travel up there, but he'll be there, that's for sure. So he'll make sure he is there. But no, he's done an awesome job. It was Queensland. Yeah, he definitely made the final at Queensland because there was no flags. Benny did point that one out to me that there might have been one horse that missed out on the getting a flag. So Nyack's first emergency, James Rattray. You say about the backstories. I went to Wagga. When did I go to Wagga? It'll tell me here. Back on the 19th of April for the Riverina, $100,000 Riverina Championships. And I think he was pretty short in the market. I'll get the field up. But he actually was shocking. And his cardiac arrhythmia, atrial fibrillation, stood down 14 days, stood down for trial, ECGs and the likes. So for James to be able to do that, he was $2.60 favourite on that occasion to take that race out. He stopped like he was shot with a lap to go. To get him through, chasing down a horse like Larry, like he did, mighty effort.
Yeah, and if he's probably and we say that Leap to Fame might be over the line, but if he were to get a run in the final or drawn inside the second line behind Leap to Fame, well,
yep,
he's a massive chance of earning some pretty serious money if that were the case. So
I know I know they're different opposition, but he actually led from 12. He was in front after 350 metres at Wagga on that occasion from 12. Go back and watch the start. It's mind-blowing, his gate speed. I don't think anyone expected James to be where he was so quickly. It was just ridiculous how quickly he got there. And he's got a great other follow-up team. He's had one of the most topsy-turvy, if you like, campaigns, I think, of any of the trainers up there, James. Lucky he's got a full head of hair and a heap of it, and the whole family have got it, because otherwise he would look like me very quickly, I reckon, the poor young bloke.
Well, you talk about sort of ups and downs. Well, London to a Brick is one of those. So, he's managed to get him back and sneak him through to the final as well. So, he's a horse that is enigmatic. I was thinking about this today, Paul, of, just enigmatic horses that are the difference between their best and their worst, and horses that, they're poles apart. They're, hot or cold. They're never any warm. And London to a Brick is probably one of those.
He's in front. Anyone wondering, he's actually here in front, not as promised, bet and win. And here comes Gus. When I saw this, when it was actually going live, I don't know what you were thinking, mate, but I was like, geez, the club would have to be wrapped with this 400 out, and you've got these four where they are. Like, you couldn't have asked for any more. And as you say, the enigmatic London to a Brick, I think you're still even holding your breath here that he keeps trotting all the way, but there is something about him, the way he does go.
Yeah. And the fact he's, pacing bred as well, he's a betters, and, he's just going back to thinking about those enigmatic horses. And like you say, you want to see them, you're almost cheering them more, like you say, holding your breath that they're going to keep going, because, he's had his share of issues. He made a gate break. He was probably lucky that, he wasn't stood down a trial last start, even though he would have had the opportunity to trial again midweek, which they did offer. Should there be a horse that needed a trial by a steward's embargo, they were given that opportunity to trial on the Tuesday should they need. Luckily, he wasn't, but it could have been very close to actually being stood down, because he caused the false start the first time round last week, and then it wouldn't have been much more than 200 metres after the start that he galloped again, and it's normally within 200 that you cop the ODM. So that would have been a false start and an ODM, which probably would have seen him trial. But luckily, he doesn't have to go down that path, and he's in the final now. And you got a back line of Gus in 13, London to a Brick in 12, and Oscar Bonavina in 11. So you got some power out the back of that field.
Gus, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? Pete and Chantel, leading trainers up there. There's no problems there. They've got a big team of horses. They must take so much pride out of what they're able to achieve with this horse, because he is not easy at all.
His speed is unbelievable speed, and I'm really looking forward to what happens this Saturday night, because he is into this final up to his ears, and if he's just saved for that closing sort of shot on them, the speed that he's got, if he can maintain that at the end of 3 laps, he's quite easily just blouse the lot of them, just power home over the top. So
they went down
when he made that run last week, he opted to drop in.
Yep. Keep going. Something's happened.
I was just going to say, when they ran down the back, it was so Can you hear me there?
Yep.
I've lost all power.
You've
No,
lost-
I'm back. Yeah, so they went 28 down the back, and he made a heap of ground, and he sort of dropped in just to preserve him a little bit. Yeah, it's one of those things. He doesn't matter. He's made the final. I think if he kept powering, he probably goes straight on by. Just checked his momentum a little bit, but doesn't matter. He's in the final, and that's where that's where all the focus will be for Gus this week.
And Bet and Win was buried back, so he may not have got out. Keep talking because we can hear you. Every now and then you just get a little bit out of whack, so that's just an internet issue, mate, but it's okay. That's exactly what I was going to say, 28 down the back and 28-2 home. A little odd one before we touch on the other trotting heat, Darren, from the other night with Prizzy and Artis, but a little odd one for you. Better's Delight's going to have the favourite in the paces. He'll have one of the favourites in the trotters. Who else has done that? And there's another little quirk to it as well, so don't worry about that. So the same sire, like London to a Brick and Leap to Fame. I think Darren might have froze. No, he's still there.
Yeah, it's a quirky fact, and I'm not sure whether it would have ever have happened before, Paul. So if it were to happen that he sired both of them, I'm sure that would be a first time, definitely. But it's interesting that can happen, and when they're so specifically, put those speed into them now, and I'm not sure how it'll all play out. Whether you'd like it, surely it'd have to be a first.
I think so. And then the other part of that, not as promised, being by betting line, a son of Better's Delight in the trot as well. So they're just some real cool little quirks, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that mentioned before about the prices. Shannon Price always having a good horse in a barn. Well, not as Promises out of a mare called All Promises, who Shannon trained at one point in its career. So it was a really good filly, really good mare, and here it is lining up as a trotter. It's a betting line. All Promises was out of As Promised, who was an Oaks winner, a pacing Oaks winner.
And bred by Jess Tubbs. That's the other.
So,
not As Promises, bred by Jess. So another little spin on that. So for you.
Yeah.
Definitely got a slight issue, but we can definitely, your audio keeps up, mate. So don't panic too much. Prizzy and Artis, we touched on him. RC Phoenix was great again. He's been terrific. He hasn't won a heat, but he's been absolutely terrific, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely super. Since he's even the first round heat, Prizzy and Artiste, he was really good. RC Phoenix, he hit the line good. There on in that race Saturday when Prizzy and Artiste was in front, and sort of RC Phoenix, he never really applied any pressure in the run. He just sort of sat at the wheel most of the way, and I think once they straightened up, I don't know. I'm not saying it's the case, but I think RC Phoenix, Chris Vinocio, sort of potentially knew that he was guaranteed second. He's probably guaranteed the final, and he was never going to run down Prizzy and Artis, so it was more about holding those others back. Making sure he held on to second because Prizzy and Artis had taken off. So I'm not sure what happens from gate one, whether he can lead in the final. I don't know whether you'd want to lead all the way. That's the great unknown this week with the 3,100 metre final. But I was really keen on RC Phoenix from the start of the series. So I didn't know whether after Miles he said he's the best trotter in the series. Well, I don't know. He mocked Captain's knock, so have we got a knock on him now as well?
Handbrake Miles, we will have to start calling him, so that won't hurt him at all. But no, I think the trotters have been awesome. And as I said, if you are watching and you want to put in your comments, Stacey White, you can put in Bet and Win. I don't care, but if anyone wants to put their comments in who they think could win the trot, because it is wide open and there is a hell of a lot of intrigue in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you put my comment in, please? I'm Team RC Phoenix, Paul. So just
Right.
put that
I'll
in for
put
me.
I'll put that in. I'll make sure it's there for you. So when he wins, you can claim it like a lot of us. So yeah, I do think he's going to be very, very hard to beat from there. But there's too many sentimental friends, and that I don't like tipping sometimes because of the job you have, and there's so many people there. I'd like to see David and Sace win. I'd love to see Alex and Tay win. There've been people, all of them have been people who've been great to me. So I think that makes a huge difference as well. Snooze has been great to me, so I don't want to begrudge him, Pete and Chantel anytime I go up there. So I'm getting myself in a big hole. Joe Pace. Joe Pace actually had a winner. He hasn't tuned in. I don't know where Joe is. He must be enjoying the Queensland weather. But he had a winner. I see Stace came in, bet and win for me. Harry Stamper, he had a winner about 10 minutes prior to that, or 5 minutes prior to that heat as well. So Harry's been good. He was naughty the first night, but he was a lot better the other night.
Yeah, he was much better. So he's made his way to the final. Hasn't got a great gate for the final, but he'll be there. And Joe did bring a travelling companion for Harry Stamper. It's Twisting By. Started last Tuesday at Albion Park, was well supported in the markets, but sort of finished down the line. It's in again tomorrow at Albion Park, Twisting By. So hopefully he can pick up a winner there. Bit of travelling money to go alongside Harry Stamper, and that he goes well this Saturday night as well. So he's got them there. And it's maybe you talk about timing wise of things. Well, Parisian Artiste is out of a mare called Schleck. Schleck, of course, was a great cyclist. Tour de France is on at the moment.
Love it. Love it. Go you. Love that. Well done. And that's actually who he was named after. So, yeah. I forget the guy's first name, but yeah, that was back when I used to watch it quite religiously.
Was it Andy Schleck?
Something like that. Or Aunt and yep, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Well done. Well, you go. The man. And of course, that has the French connection with Pat Driscoll, you see. The French Revolution, the French connection with Pat and Yabby Dam Farms. That's where it comes from, harassed the trotters. So, yeah, funny, get off the topic for 2 seconds, but doing broodmares in a paddock the other day with some French backpackers at Godolphin, and they said, have you been to France? And I'm like, no, why would you say that? And they said, just your hat. I had to pull the hat off and have a look, and it was Pat's beanie, harassed the trotters, but because the way it was spelt, and so yeah, it was quite a funny one. I was like, no, I'm going to Ireland, but no, that's about as far as I've gone. We will touch on the heats. We're going to touch on the rest of the final. Just a couple of little ones because there's one that I need to produce for you. The run of actually, we'll go with Lacasso straight away with the Proto Star. Unfortunately, incident at the start, mate, robbed the race, I think, a little bit. Made Mark Pitt's job very easy to find the front. It was just a little bit unfortunate for connections of Cardigan Bay, Fire and Passion. Yeah, and even a Tour Magic, albeit that he caused it. It's a matter of what might have been for a few of those connections.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Even probably a Tour Magic to the first degree because, yes, he caused it and he was sort of made the error, but he still run third. So, pretty big performance there. Fire and Passion. He's a nice horse. He got sort of copped a fair whack by a Tour Magic in that action. So, he's Q-bred. So we've got the $150,000 Q-bred Triad series coming up mid-August. So he'll probably just have a week or two off and get going again, ready for that fight for victory. They might just keep him ticking over because he went into that race fresh. He hadn't started since the Q-bred Breeders' Classic race, which was back in May, and he just had one trial going into the Proto Star. So whether they just keep him ticking over until then. Arc C, she was super, the only filly in the race, and she's run second. So Sam Hewitt's got a nice one on his hands there, I would imagine. But yeah, unfortunately, it just got marred by those couple of errors, the one at the start and then again on the home bend when a few horses were starting to make their run. It got a bit messy again. So, but that can happen at times with 2-year-old racing. And luckily, they all stayed on their feet, and no, they're all ready to fire up and go again next time they should step out.
And I should say, what you just said then, Fight for Glory, and the other horse off the second row, Dynamite Dan, was a little bit impeded. I'm trying to. Soho Avenue was the other horse because they had to check wide. They had no choice. Like, they were going wide and going backwards. So it was a very incident-marred race. But yeah, as you rightfully said, terrifically done. I'm going to what am I going to do? I'm going to hit that button there. So if you are watching on Twitter, you can get involved. This is my first comment that I've ever found on Twitter, Darren, hence the reason I want to bring it up. But Chaff and Oates, whose name's just left me as soon as I
Marcus
hit that.
Kirkwood.
Marcus Kirkwood has put in that his favourite, of course it would have been, Smolder in 2016. And there's Mark drinking out of the cup. Phil Cannard, but you can see Shawnee McNulty as well, great supporter of Campbell's comments, and absolutely loved him. So, yeah, some great scenes there. And Phil's got himself a couple of nice horses at the minute, but I'm sure that's one of the more special ones for him as well. So thank you very much, Marcus. And if you are watching on Twitter, get involved, because that's what it's about, having fun, getting involved. And I'm glad I found that one. Actually, I was getting something else ready and saw that, and I thought, well, that's cool. Brookie Hammond, the Tasmanians, they haven't had the greatest of campaigns up in Queensland, but they're going around. They had some nice races the other day. James Rattray is on the Kevin Thomas. That was the inaugural Kevin Thomas.
Yeah, so there's always been a 4-year-old race, but it's never sort of had a name. So, yeah, this year was the first year the Kevin Thomas 4-year-old was held.
Yep. That is the Garrards. I will pass my condolences on. I'll leave it at that, but to the whole Garrards family as well, just at the minute. But El Luciano was awesome. What a drive by James Rattray. It was one of the out of the box, I thought. It was just a stunning drive, positioned the horse in the right spot. I said there before about the Tasmanians. You forget James is a Tasmanian because he's been in New South Wales for so long, but such a decorated career, and got himself another real high-profile horse here.
Yeah, and he's been one of those horses that's probably he's been on the fringe and probably really waiting to announce himself. You won't say that's a career announcing win, but it was a very good win, and sort of justifies where he's been around on the fringes for so long. And like you said, perfect drive, summed it up perfectly. Made him move early, and then just took cover then on the janitor when he come up, and yeah, just they went at it down the straight.
He was just patient, wasn't he? Just waiting and waiting. Like, he just keeps asking, but he's not getting out in the fresh air until he has to. Like, he waited for as long as he could, and I think it was, obviously the race-winning move.
Yeah, he's obviously sort of knew the janitor was going to get him there, and nothing was really making ground, so he didn't have to come out just right away. And then when he finally did come out, yeah, got him on the line, beating a half neck in the end. But the janitor, he's been runner-up now in 2 pretty big races, and he's drawn second line again for this week in the 4-year-old championship. So that 4-year-old championship this Saturday night, that's an absolute belter.
We will get to that in a minute. Glitter Ain't Gold was pretty awesome for a Bathurst horse. I know you got a soft spot for the boys from Bathurst. It actually went terrific, and Major Hot. Things just not going right for him this campaign, that's for sure. But he keeps getting plenty of raps on the coverage, but just doesn't seem to get the wins.
Yeah, well, he's one that will. He won a Queensland Derby last year, prepared by the Whites on that occasion. They got left the horse for a few starts and managed to pick up the Ladbrokes Derby. It was there last year, the Queensland Derby. He's won one race since then, so he's sort of been up and down, but that was a better run by him. He gets gate 1 this weekend in the 4-year-old race, so he gets his opportunity this week to certainly get back into winning form, and it'll be on the same night that he won his last race last year. So it'll be his opportunity. Major Hot, but all in all, I think those first 4 or 5 across the line, they were the runs out of that race. A few of the others sort of had their opportunity, but all honours there, our Luciano.
Yeah, absolutely. The Fleur de Lille, I think Luke McCarthy would have took some great pride in winning this race. A horse that he used to train himself, Fleur de Lille, champion mare she was. I keep smiling. This is a rock star, this horse. What she's able to achieve, she's just going phenomenal. She had no right to win like she did the other day, especially like Chinchilla leading, but Joycelyn Young was a great drive. This horse was, this horse is going terrific, but just can't get past. I keep smiling.
Super run once, the fact that she did it tough and was able to score there. Going into it, she trialled in 150 and 5. Now, that would have been, if that was a race, would have been a mare's class record at Albion Park. Amore Vita does hold that, but it was only a trial, so it doesn't count in that regards to the record books. But then she's come out and won that. Like you said, Luke, with the Fleur de Lille, the association he had with her and racing her throughout her career, and even took her over to America, and to win this race with a mare that, he's got a real soft spot for, and she's won 9 in a row now. I keep smiling. So that's pretty impressive effort.
Yeah, and of course Luke is from Bathurst and resides at Menangle, but he spent a long time in Queensland and doing an amazing job there as well. So I'm sure that part has it as well. The other little side note to this mare, I keep smiling, is this. So this is going into the nutrient sales in Sydney on February the 8th. This will be. This here is a Better Delight. Now, we've been singing his praises all night, Darren, out of I Keep Smiling. So this here is the yearling that Success Stud will be offering up. It's actually a weanling still at the minute, but next year at the nutrient sales, as I said, February 8th at Sydney at Warwick Farm. So I'm sure a few people are going to have that horse on the radar, and quite a cool little quirk to our industry, if you like, the fact that she's able to still keep racing but also have a yearling ready to hit the sales next year. Yeah,
it's not often that they generally still keep going at the same point in time. They, a lot of the ones that have had the embryos tend to sort of finish their racing not long after. But the fact that this one will be going to the sales, and nice looking type as well.
Yep.
But I Keep Smiling, she's been a wonderful mare. She now goes to that Golden Girl and chasing another Group 1 this Saturday night, and drawn pretty well for that race this Saturday. So
stay with that race, Darren. I'll put the field up for you, mate. So we've actually got that field up there now.
So if she goes into that race, she'll be chasing 10 on the bounce. She draws gate 2. You'd expect, even if Chinchilla can get across, which probably may not happen, well, then it's just a repeat of last week, perhaps. Tay-Tay's probably the big winner from the barrier draw. She goes into gate 1, but you'd be hard-pressed going against I Keep Smiling, the form she is in, 9 in a row, and drawn well here to make it 10 in a row.
Yeah, and like she was 3 deep for the almost first full lap the other night. She ain't going to be 3 deep maybe until turning for home, but she may not even have to do that. So, it looks her race to lose, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, the way it sort of turned out, and a couple of nice horses with some good picket fence lines there this week. So you go through some of the horses and the picket fence lines in their form throughout the night. That just shows how good a night it's going to be. Horses like Captain's Mistress.
We'll go back to race 1 because this has got the junior drivers.
They start tomorrow. 3 heats tomorrow for the junior drivers.
Yep.
3 heats Wednesday. What's that? 6. 3 heats. They get Thursday off, I think.
And Friday.
It's either Thursday or Friday off, and 3 heats at Redcliffe, but which must be Thursday off, 3 heats Friday, and then 1 heat Saturday to finish it off. So, so they're in action tomorrow to start Albion Park, and then Saturday night there, race 1.
Yep.
So that's
A little bit of an odd one in a way. There's 4 Kiwi drivers in amongst it because the reigning champ is Sam Thornley. And then you have the New Zealand leading junior Carter Dalgety, and then you've got Wilson House on the South Island and Harrison Orange on the North Island. So a little bit of an odd one with so many Kiwis, but that's how they all got in.
Yeah, so four Kiwis taking on the six Aussies, and I guess one of the he gets in under the conditions and there's no dramas, but it just probably looks a little bit of an anomaly. Is James Herbertson competing in a young drivers championship? It seems like he's been around forever. He's and I guess his last few years have been so good, but he gets in there on his merit. So.
Yep.
Good luck to Herbie and all the young drivers going through that series. So I know Emily Savalco, she was over here for the last series when it was held here in 2023. Drove a winner at Albion Park, so she knows the way around the creek. Queensland will be represented by Chloe Butler, Jet Turnbull for New South Wales, Brodie Davis from Tasmania. Brodie Davis' sister, I think it is. Sister or brother will be competing in the Pony Inter-Dominion, Paul.
Good.
Their little ponies currently at Albion Park, stabled over the back there, and it arrived last week. And because Brodie wasn't arriving until Sunday, there's a few people have chipped in to look after that pony. I'm pretty sure Taylor French is one of them that's been looking after that pony for the Davis. So. It'd be good to see if he can go well in the Pony Inter-Dominion.
I met Brodie when I was over there. He's a ripping young man, actually, and well done to him. And Emily Savelko, 750 winners as well. So she's a little bit the same. She doesn't have that concession next to her name. So some pretty amazing stats there for some of those drivers. Radio, you mentioned before about the 4-year-old championship Group 3 race here, major hot draw in the pole. This is a great field of horses. A few horses stepping up, a few horses drawing ordinary. A lot of intrigue, I reckon, with this race.
Yeah. Charge ahead. He's probably he draws well. He gets his opportunity to improve. He's sort of perhaps lost that form where he was at around the Chariots of Fire time. He's just been a little bit below his best. Our goat, Bernie Hewitt's horse, he is absolutely firing at the minute. He won the last race there on Saturday night and did it easily. And his last half in that race was 54-4 out in front. And yeah, he was super. Our Luciano, no favours there. The Janitor, better than cash for the whites. He's been okay. Attachment is absolutely flying. And, all in all, that's a very strong 4-year-old race.
Pete and Chantel have done something wrong somewhere because leader Peter, it makes it a bit hard. He's got a lot of second-row draws again this week. He had a heap last week. He's got a few more again this week, hasn't he?
Yeah, it hasn't worked out in their favour whatsoever. So, especially in the Oaks as well. The Oaks was a random one, and I was part of that. I was pulling the names out, and I didn't pull the marbles out, but I pulled the names out. So, yeah.
Well, we've got the Oaks field on. We'll skip. We'll go back to race 3 in a sec. But because you were going there, now this race, the barrier draws have made this race incredibly intriguing on exposed form. Alex Ashwood is watching, and Tay have been watching from time to time. I think good luck to them. They couldn't have drawn better. You've done the right thing there for those guys, and I know you didn't do that. That was definitely tongue-in-cheek. But with Captain's Mistress drawing 11 arrive, even a horse like Sugar Pie Honey can inject a little bit of speed into the race drawing there. This race is really different. You've got Soho Americano for Mick Stanley and Luke McCarthy. I saw her win when I was at Menangle for the Pacing for Pink Night. She was awesome on that occasion. Cool and Classy was also on that same occasion. Great field, isn't it? There's so much intrigue now with the barrier draws.
Yeah, super field. Cool and Classy is probably another one just been a little bit below her best since coming back from the New South Wales Oaks. Captain's Mistress, she's just a pure jet. So, be hard pressed any of them holding her out. But the way they're going and the way that front line profiles, well, there's certainly a couple there that can can give it a red hot crack of knocking her off. And Manhattan Chick, like you said, draws perfectly. Ruby Rules
Yep.
is going super, and if she, if they want to lead or try to go all the way with Manhattan Chick, well then Ruby Rules is going to be in a perfect spot to take a shot. So it's a really strong Oaks this year.
She's another horse that hasn't been getting the right barrier draws just at the minute. She drew inside the second row last week, and she draws there again this week, Ruby Rules. But I know she's a horse that likes to be right up hard on the pace. So, she'll appreciate that. Well, we'll go backwards, Darren, if that's all right. We'll go back to, so we just keep that way, the Inter-Dominion Consolation. And generally your consolations can be hard to pick because there's horses, you're picking horses that perhaps haven't got the great figure form. But, this race is very interesting now with a couple of these runners, isn't it?
Yeah, the way the barrier draw goes as well.
Yep.
I'm not sure on first thoughts. Like Beach Ball's probably been.
He's been my disappointment. He was a horse that I saw in New Zealand 2 years ago. And I thought he was a horse with a real future. When I saw him with Luke McCarthy, I thought he's a serious horse. His first start was outstanding. Geez, he's been disappointing. He's 2 runs up there, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And reading between the lines, I think he's probably a genuine doubt of whether he even lines up in this.
Okay.
He's in the field for now. He may opt to gate 1, might swing the pendulum in favour of running him, but he certainly hasn't been near his best. Better Eclipse hasn't been too bad. The fact that we have 2 heat rounds, he's finished 4th in both of those heats, and he misses out. So you can't knock him. Whisperer's Secret, sectionally, he actually hasn't been too bad, but he's never looked like winning at any point either. So he's could come back to Nyack. A wise man once told me always pick the horse that's the emergency for the big one. So that could be Nyack's opportunity.
Technically, he's got the best points, hasn't he? That's why he's first emergency. So and he is going terrific. And but like I think Better Eclipse is also going good. I will say that's as good a barrier draw as he's had in a big race for a long time. Better Eclipse, just he's a horse that does get some shocking draws over the journey. The Derby, and as I said, there Ribera still with no driver, but we imagine it's Adam Sanderson, but we shouldn't commit to that. But this race is intriguing again. Barrier draws. I said Ribera unbeaten, but I forgot he did get beaten last start, didn't he? I forgot about that in the Rising Sun, which was nothing to be deterred about. I think, it was a huge race. But this is probably not a drop back in class either, because there's some quality horses in this race, isn't there?
Oh, high quality, Paul.
Yeah. This is actually a great field, isn't it, when you look at it?
Yeah. So there was a Derby qualifier. So just for anyone sort of New South Wales, Victoria, who you normally have your Derby heats or Oaks heats. We don't have those up here. Normally it's just this year we did have a qualifier, which gave a ballot exemption, and that was last Friday. Hesitate won that for the Derby, and it was Soho Americano in the Oaks. Probably not that either of them
would have
needed to win it. Yeah, they would have got in, but they guaranteed it. Hesitate was super in that. 26-4 home, 28, 26-4, 153 for the 2100s, which is good going. They go up to the 26 this week, so that'll sort of feel them out. But that's as good a Derby field, I think, as we've had for a while.
See the Stars, a high quality horse for Jeff Webster. Jeff's having a good run. Actually, he had a couple of winners down here Sunday night, actually, Cranbourne. Even a horse like He's Treacherous, I know he's figure form and he's possibly going to struggle. He will, the draw hasn't been nice to him, but he's a really high quality horse as well. Sweet on Lexi, Fader Waits. Did it win a race not last week, the week before that, was sort of stacked up okay, beating the 4-year-olds. Jack's Ultimate Fury, Final Dead. It's a good field. Nice, real good, strong field of horses and horses of the future, I reckon. Yeah.
This will be certainly be a strong form reference probably over the next sort of 12 months, you'd imagine.
Yep. Go from there. I'll just go past the 2 Inter-Dominion finals very, very quickly. The trotting free-for-all, the depth in trotters up there is outstanding. Sir Fahrenheit first emergency for the Trotters into Dominion, didn't get any favours in the drip barrier draw here, but still the depth here is terrific. Elderbaron and Crooks didn't handle that last turn the other day, but just great field of horses.
So interesting with this one in that it was so obviously open to the next lot of 12 from that have made the final. Now, not all of them have opted to go in, so that's why you will see some names that weren't in the series.
Yep.
Horses like McGee, Van Sank, Sally M. They're the three that didn't compete through the series. So
adds a bit of intrigue. Adds some intrigue, doesn't it, when you see their form?
Yeah, and the fact that a couple of them are going around tomorrow. So McGee and Sally M both go around tomorrow. Sally M probably a big step up for her, but McGee, he's been super. 3 wins from 4 starts since arriving in Queensland for Graham Dwyer. So I think pretty sure he's actually a Q-bred, and that's why he got sent up to start with. So
Centurion ATM he would be. So yeah.
So there you go. There's one for your. So 3rd of June, he won a race there. So would have picked up the 5,400 winning stakes. He would have picked up $2,000 first Trotters win bonus in Queensland and the $14,000 Q-bred first win bonus. So that was effectively a $20,000 payday for winning that race on the 3rd of June. So.
See just there, S. Carter and D.H. Burns, great mates of mine, racehorses with me for over the years for a long, long time. So I think well done to the boys. They're enjoying it, and I'm sure they're going to have a great thrill watching go around on Saturday night too. So
well, in a $30,000 race. So
yep.
And over the mobile, he's pretty good out of the mobile. So yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the Derby Oaks Consolation combined fields, and that's where we say where Williams steps out for Alex Ashwood and the likes. But still a nice little field of horses to end the night on. I don't think anyone wants to be in the last race on Into Dominion night, though. And Pete and Chantel's barrier draws continue there with only 2 horses on the second line, and it's both theirs. So they must have really done something wrong somewhere along the lines, I think.
Yeah, race 10 at 10:20 at the end of a night, and you're drawing the worst 2 barriers. If they weren't, they're probably good chances. Outside of that, you'd probably. I know if it was me, I'd be thinking about a sneaky little scratching.
Rightio, we will start. We'll stick to the paces very quick. Well, not quickly, but as long as we want. No, there's no timeline on loose lines, and there never has been. Leap to Fame drawing the pole. Ricardo Rebel gives her a good chance. She's been terrific. She's been the best performed mare. I think, was she the only mare in the series?
She's the only mare in the series, yeah.
But she's done an outstanding job. Her run last week was terrific. Speak the Truth. Both drivers are still the same thing. Of course, winning last week. How does he get off the gate?
Yeah, good enough. Like he can push forward, and it's probably one of those front lines that really lacks probably real early sort of fizz, like that real push button. Ricardo Rebel certainly gets out good enough. She led the first night before handing over. Speak the Truth gets out. C Art can really fly the arm when they do let him go. So he's there. So Catch a Wave is the other one that can absolutely
burn it,
fly out if they, but gate 7 over 3 laps. Do you really want to? And
he's not bred. He's that Sun Beach line that if you light them up too early, we saw that last week.
Too keen, yeah.
Pin Seeker, that same line of horses, they can bring them undone big and go from there. Trista Dixon, we talk about bad barrier draws. It's a shocker for a road or a horse that's done a great job through the carnival.
Yeah, so it was actually Grant's 3 boys all had a pick for the barriers. So I think Thomas picked Tim's a Trooper, Jai picked Leap to Fame, and Little Cooper picked a Rhoda.
Well, that's the luck of it. That's how it works. So
yeah.
I did see a thing where Shannon Price said she was not going to be picking one. I hope she stuck fat to that. Did she? She wouldn't have gone up?
Pretty sure she picked both of hers.
Oh, she was going to send her mum up because she reckons the last time she did it was terrible. So, okay, well, she changed the tune, but that was...
She did that. Luke Whitaker did Rakiro Rebel. Little Archie Morris, Robbie and Kerry Ann's little fella, he did there too. Ricky Thurlow did Don
Don
Hugo.
Hugo.
Andy did Catch a Wave.
Sweet.
Trevor Patching, who's associated with Brad Hewitt, did Captain's Knock. And Akey did his own.
Yep. Okay. It's great to see David Aiken with Max Delight. He was, again, terrific the other night. So going to be a great race. That's at 9:10. And then the Trotters, this is really, it was intriguing beforehand. It's a great race with most of, well, as you said, the ones that could draw in the barrier draw have drawn the front row that are your form horses, and then you've got your, I suppose, form naughty boys out the back. So it has really changed it up. That's no disrespect to Constantinople, Harry Stamper, and Zealous Spur. Zealous Spur's been actually going terrific, finding line grade as well. So the barrier draws have really opened this race right up, haven't they?
Yeah. And like you say, those three naughty boys out the back, like at their best, all three of them potentially can be winning this race. So, it could be a bit of cat and mouse in the back there as anyone wants to get into the race, because Oscar Bonavina probably wants a card in, you would expect, as would probably Gus. And London to a Brick, well, does he want to make a move and get around them to take that out of the equation? So it's an interesting setup. I don't know how it unfolds.
No, I think it's one of those ones, and a horse like Not As Promised doesn't mind sitting in the def, but that 3,200 metres might sort him out for that. He might not want to do that. Just on Sean Grimsey's horse, Golden Sunset, what was found to be wrong with her the other night?
Not too sure. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything in the steward's report either, so just stopped that, didn't she?
Yeah, beaten 50 metres, so it's not ideal.
And she was beaten a long way out. Points, Darren. Now, you guys instigated the points. Now, I probably should have produced this a little bit earlier because we've probably got no one watching. We've got a few people watching. The point system has been brought in, and I think it's good. It probably could be a couple of tweaks from my point of view. I reckon. I'll tell you now. My tweak would be the points. The way you allocate them, I think, is awesome, but only the once. So for the 3 heats of the paces, you still only get the 4, 2, and 1, but that's for all 3 heats. So it makes it worth
not every heat.
Yep. And then for the Trotters, I think it's great. But I actually did a little bit of research because I saw an article that someone wrote, and it's actually wrong, where they said that Logan Derby was the first Inter-Dominion winner, because it wasn't. He was the first horse past the post in the final, but effectively back then it was on points, and that was Evicus, I think we can go with the Tasmanians.
Evicus, Free Homes.
Evicus was a Tasmanian horse, I believe, and it was in Western Australia. She accumulated the most points. It wasn't Mare, I think, too, was it not? Got a funny feeling it was a mare. Maybe not. That doesn't matter.
She was a mare. She was a mare.
And the twist on all of that is she's a Tasmanian. The race was in Western Australia, and the trophy's in Queensland. Is that not right?
Yes. Yeah. The trophy's still sitting just next to my desk. It's an interesting one. I found another piece of how, for whatever reason, the Albion Park Club bought the trophy at an auction when I think the owner of Evicus passed away, or there's some little story there. Anyway, the trophy from that original series, the original trophy, is in Brisbane at Albion Park.
Now, I've always been led to believe that was it. They fixed it after that. And they stopped it and went from there. They did it once and they thought, well, this is wrong because how can the first past the post not be rewarded? There was 3 heats in the 1 week and then into the final. But that's actually not true because it went to Adelaide the next year and Paraceline, I'll go with, finished second to Potluck, but won on points. So Potluck was the first horse across the line in that final. And then 4 years later on, Logan Derby, who won the final but finished second on points to Evicus, actually won it 4 years later on points. The Kiwis, poor old Grand Mogul, came over and was first past the post in the final but lost it on points. So the point system has been around for a long, long time in the Inter-Dominion. People say don't touch it, don't mess with it. It's not a once-off that first year, which everyone seems to know about. But it has been actually happening for a hell of a long time, and I think we're entitled to twist a little bit with it and have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, well, like you say, it's certainly not brand new. It's just probably a tweak in how it's all works. So, there's been a little bit of commentary from both sides of whether it should be in the way we use it, whether it shouldn't be, whether it's not. But I guess when it comes down to the fact that Queensland's taken this series on for 3 years, no other state really was in a position to take it or wanted to take it. So Queensland stepped in, and we got to a point of saying, well, if we're going to host it, how can we make it, just a little bit different without completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater? And a nod back to those historical components of the race. We brought in some points. The other fact being that we couldn't run a 3-heat series, or we basically went down the path of choosing to run 2 heats over the 3, and to fund it, to have $1 million Pacers final, a $500,000 Trotters final, we had to do it a little bit differently.
Yep, and I think well done. I think it's been bloody awesome, and I think it's I think it's great that because it does throw that intrigue, and I just hope that silences a few people along the way as well. So I think it is actually cool. I did find I think it's this one here. So it is actually on the harness racing. It's on that. I just got to flick to this. It's actually a pretty cool read. That it's the Inter-Dominion Championships, a brief heat, and it's on the Inter-Dominion. But basically, go to Inter and then history, and there's quite a fair bit to take in when you read it. To the extent that they're actually claiming that the first ever Inter-Dominion was in 1898, but it was only a once of. And actually, the Trotters, I believe, were the first lot of horses that were there. It says here the organisers were beside themselves with glee. The series provided the greatest exhibition of trotting ever seen in the Southern Hemisphere. Incomparable. Fritz won in straight heats and smashed them in the final. Which I have one other little odd thing to say to you. But the next part about it is, tragically, it was the last time an Australian public were able to witness Fritz. Then only 5 years old in a race, he was forced from racing by an amalgam of officiating. Basically, he was handicapped out. There was no races for him. So at 5 years of age, the reigning Inter-Dominion winner couldn't race anymore, and they stopped it. Imagine trying to do that now. That'd be Carney there. So leaves the series the way it always has been. I don't disagree, Darren McCall, but we do have to tweak things because I think history, we do, if we stayed exactly the same, we would be nowhere. We need to move with the times, and I think, point systems and those things need to be changed as well.
The other thing to that point as well is, the breed's much different now.
Yep.
Yep. I speak to a lot of trainers, and they all agree that, 3 runs in a week is too much.
Yep. Yeah. Even listening to Luke the other night with Don Hugo, when he was saying about how he didn't need that tougher run, a week. Dropped off one race, and yet you could tell in Luke's voice he's physically worried about his horse, Don Hugo, backing up after 2 runs in 2 weeks, simply because of the times they're running and the way they're going.
Yeah, and, ideally, we'd love to maintain the series and the concept and the tradition and for all the extra money that we can put on, but you can't, it's just not there. The money's not there to have $1 million final and have 3 heats. I don't think, different time of year, we potentially didn't get the quality or the quantity of numbers in our series that we thought we would by going to this time of year. We won't get them later in the year in the summer because there's still a lot of horses that were flattened from that last series in 2023. Took them a long time because of the humidity and the heat that we had. We definitely wouldn't get any Kiwi horses in that time of year with the New Zealand Cup on. There's a lot of factors at play. It's just one of those things we have to move on, and we have to adopt it and embrace it.
Yep. And I do think with a horse like Leap to Fame, you shouldn't try to set a race around a horse like him. But the reality is he is there. He is still the benchmark in our industry as we sit here today, and he possibly will be, barring accidents, for another 12 months. You can't see him unless, he does get older and he's a stallion. You don't know what spring might bring for him and things along those lines. But you guys can't program around him. But other people are going to say, well, we're not going to go there for him. Like, that's one of the reasons that Crandell Getty and those didn't come. You don't know how many other Kiwis didn't come across as well because he was there. But next year, you don't know what might happen. Hopefully, for everyone's sake, he's there. He's there to represent harness racing the way he has been doing. But the point system might come into play big time for some of these horses that may have missed out, and adds that bit of intrigue to who might be able to get in. And the Kiwis might be looking and saying, well, with these points, I've got a horse that can finish hard. I've got a chance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you say, we should be celebrating him. Potentially, arguably, a lot of people, a lot of good judges saying he's the best they've ever seen. I know I'd have to say for me, I was always Black's a Fake, a coin flip between Black's a Fake and Christian Cullen for me. I think Black's a Fake for his performance, Christian Cullen just for his brilliance and just his presence. Like, he was a horse that had that presence. Let's celebrate the champion. Absolutely.
And I think we've got to continue to do that because he is a freak and he's awesome to watch. And yeah, he's something special. I still, it's quite funny, the flips and flops with him. I remember when Adam Hamilton was saying about how good this horse is in Queensland, this Leap to Fame, late 2-year-old, early 3-year-old, and all the rest. And I'm like, Adam, you're underselling Catch a Wave. Seriously, what are you doing? And I was thinking, he's playing ducks and drakes a little bit with the sister-in-law and going that way. I thought he's just been a bit facetious. And then I still, Cambrai, I'll tell you, the greatest race day ever was at Tamworth Trots of all places. To see him take on one of those breeders' heats and go 54 sitting in the death. It's still one of the most brilliant days I've ever been at a race meeting. Not because of the crowd, it was just to be able to sit there and see something so pure. It was just brilliant, and got to celebrate him, and hopefully plenty of people get to see him, race for a long time yet. It's funny how the delay comes. He's lost me again. Something's happened. No, he's back.
I don't know where the delay comes, Paul. It was in there.
I was like, he's not even hearing anything I say. You heard that part. You didn't hear the rest of it. Mate, good luck. Saturday night, I won't be there, but good luck. Definitely wish I was there. There's going to be some great stories. I think good luck to every participant. There's some great supporters of On Loose Lines. Campbell's comments up there. I hope they all win. They all can't, unfortunately. But so I do hope they can all win. But I think good luck to Queensland promoting our industry. And I hope for the participants and the people who love our industry, we celebrate what's going to be a magic night of harness racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those nights that has everything. Kicks off with the young drivers. We've got, the up and comers with the Oaks and the Derbies, and then the Trotters and the Pacers for those two big finals. So looking forward to it. The crowd should be, we should be at capacity. All our sort of function spaces, every ticket's gone. So it's walk-ups only. So looking forward to that. We've got plenty to do between now and then, but it's all going well. We've had some free-to-air TV coverage over the past couple of days. That's all gone well. And, bring on the rest of the week. Should be a an exciting little piece too as the fields are let out. So looking forward to what should be a very busy week, Paul.
If Thin Captain wins, do you pick up the fake horse and get it out of the pro ring so you can keep him in there a bit longer?
Pick up the what, sorry?
The fake horse, the horse that's got the rug sitting on it, because apparently, according to Shannon, he didn't like the clerk of the course. He also didn't like the plastic horse that was in there.
That's what he spooks at.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, maybe we might have to move Gun Sind, as he's known.
Yeah, we might have to. We'll see some of the track attendant boys picking him up and running him out, just so Sure Thing Captain can stay in there a bit longer.
Yeah, maybe we'll slide him out and Sure Thing Captain can come in.
We've got a few people late to the party. Blake Fitzpatrick, Trent Mason's there, Dan Kennedy. Blake had a double, maybe a treble today. I think Zara had a winner today as well. So plenty of winners going from there. Mate, thank you. Really appreciate it. As I said, it was a bit more line and length tonight, if you like, but I think we have to celebrate the greatest races we have, and I appreciate you giving me the time and going from there. But really do appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck to yourself and everyone else at the Creek. Put on a great show, probably racing Queensland. Bricky, I haven't spoke to Bricky, but good luck to him as well. You don't see Bricky as much anymore, which is disappointing, but good luck to everyone there, mate.
No, it should be a great night, and thanks for your support, Paul.
Good as gold.